Test, test, test one.
All right, we're live.
Hey,
Bam.
cool.
All right, go for it, Jake.
Hello, everybody. This is or episode 3 of the Dirt Report with special guest Snail, and this will be the official podcast of the college R6 power rankings. Miggs, Snail, how are you guys today?
We vibing. You know, we throw in scrims. UTSA, loyal tactics.
It's
Damn. All right. I mean, I'm doing well today.
good. I'm glad. So, Snail, what goes into making these podcasts, these power rankings? Like, tell us how you break them down a little bit. Give some people some.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was kind of sitting there one day, and I was like, well, there's really like no way that you can, uh, really know what happens like in Siege. You don't really know like where these teams are placed. So I just kind of went in and I kind of looked at the seasons as Face It was coming to a close and as CR6 coming to a close, and I was like, all right, pretty simple here. We just like take the teams. You do it's like who beat who. It turned out to be pretty easy in that sense. And then with collegiate R6 invite starting, you got to see these top 25 teams competing at a like against other good teams, which then makes things more difficult. And so that is why the power rankings went from a one-man show to a committee now of 7 members. And so this way you have more people looking at it from different perspectives, and you're really just gonna be have a lot more solid rankings. Going to be more in and there won't be as much movement now as you kind of
Yeah,
seen how the divisions are settling.
yeah, I agree. It looks like it flattens out a little bit. We'll get to it later. As a sneak peek, but there's not really a whole lot of shifting this week. It seems like a lot of teams move like up or down one or two.
Yeah, now we
Yeah,
actually
for
have
sure.
something to go off of.
Yeah,
Before we were kind of like guessing where teams were placed based on the open bracket and the
yeah,
huge Swiss formats. Now we actually have like a premier setup and an open setup and see who's actually popping off in open that can threaten premier teams.
yeah. That was actually one of the biggest things that I think CR6 was lacking was that you couldn't get an accurate measure on who the team was because the top teams always played the worst teams in the Swiss bracket. I found like it would be you'd get 3 7-0s and then you'd go play an Akron or a UTSA or something like that, and you couldn't prepare because you just 7-0'd for 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem with the Swiss
Yeah.
format is that you don't get those teams. Like you get certain
Mhm.
teams that it's just not fair. Minnesota was one of the like key ones that they really got screwed over. They played
Yeah,
the two best teams in their division, and then losing those two games, you end up in open playoffs, and then
no matter what.
they got put in the group of death in the CR6 playoffs, where there's probably the 4 best teams there, all playing each other
Mhm.
in the first 2 rounds, and then well, you saw the winner of that group, Oklahoma State, they won it all. So
Yeah, it is hard with especially with this many teams being in CR6 at the moment.
With
Hopefully now with
Face
Face
It,
It and CEA, it'll start to like even out, and we'll get a nice rating of all the teams.
yeah, because like five weeks is not enough for Swiss. Like you need
no,
like 6 to 8, 7 to 8, especially with the amount of teams. Like if it was like say 12 teams, all right, 5 weeks is fine. You can more or less gauge who's top, who's bottom. But it was like 18 to 20 teams per
Yeah.
sectional.
They almost needed to do it like a full year season instead of doing like each semester. Do like a full year where the first semester is just Swiss and then second semester is just a giant playoff bracket.
Yeah, like time was crunched too because it was
Yeah.
trying to do a shortened season because of COVID, because people going home and stuff. People going home
Hmm.
early, so it kind of ran into that.
Yeah.
yeah,
Shall we do predictions this week or should we do the ratings? Show off the ratings for everyone.
I think we start with the ratings here, and then we
All right.
speak for the predictions towards the end.
Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. So I got the rankings on screen.
Mr. Snail, would you like to describe the ratings for us this week, not
I
including
mean,
number one seed?
Start with the
yeah,
1 and then back to 25.
yeah. I mean, it's pretty clear who the number one team in the country is. They haven't lost yet.
Yeah,
Not much you can really do to be like, oh yeah, Akron's not number one. No, they're clearly number one. No one's really there. Where the biggest I think change really occurred this week was mostly in Grand Canyon with what they were up to in
yeah,
in the end of Face It. They had the third place game against Colorado. Colorado, kind of an untested team. They didn't really have like they were just kind of beating everyone they played, but those teams they played weren't like
top
top
teams.
class teams. Yeah, they played Georgia, they lost. They played Grand Canyon. They got obliterated against Grand Canyon. The match wasn't even close.
A lot of those
They
West Coast schools are suspect once they're playing on like
Yeah,
normal ping. Like before, like season 2, season 3, they were playing on East. So they're playing East Coast schools, so they'd be swinging everything at like 100 ping. Now that it's regionalized, it kind of makes them play normal, and they're either very sus or very weak of what people used to think of them.
Yeah, and then some of the schools that aren't playing inside of the CR6 invite. I know a lot of people were kind of in between like where these schools that don't play should be. The Ohio States, the Iowa States, Huntsville, UNCC, North Carolina State, and Penn State. So originally the plan was, we're going to phase those teams out, and what kind of ends up happening is you don't really get a good ranking system if you're just automatically phasing those teams out. If teams put on a performance where it's like, hey, we're clearly better than the team that's ranked here, and that team's not playing, well, then it's hard. It's easy to get in front of that team. But
yeah,
some of these teams, they're not putting on the performance that you need to become, top 10. And I mean, with Illinois State, the thing is, it's kind of just like they're just sliding through because they haven't really, they beat UWW, a team that they're ranked like 21st now. That's just who they should have beat that team. They play UIC and Purdue this week, and so that's going to be the real test. Is Purdue they've shown they can really win games when they need to be there. I think they were top 4 in CR6 last
yeah,
season,
Hmm.
so that's really going to be the tester game for if Illinois State deserves their ranking spot, and obviously if not, then they fall back down.
yeah. I think I agree with the ratings of this week and how we shouldn't phase teams like right away, and that we should slowly knock
So,
them
yeah,
down.
slowly work them down because also that we don't know what's going behind the scenes with everyone's scrims and stuff, but some of these teams are for sure not scrimming right now because they're not doing anything.
I think a lot of
Uh,
teams aren't scrimming either between exams and
and
winter break.
holidays, a lot of them are
Yeah.
also probably doing tryouts too.
Yeah,
I know we were doing tryouts a bit too, so it's gonna fluctuate of what they actually have and like what their actual roster is gonna be going into the spring because they're probably trying everything out right now from players to strats with the new meta to actually like the teams that are playing like winter right now like they have very little time to actually experiment with the meta. They're having to full on ride onto the season.
hmm I think this little season will like the stats will change a little bit, but I think next season we'll see the biggest stats change once everyone gets their rosters and scrims are happening more full force.
Yeah, and I noticed in the chat, Jay Z, the caster, he's asking about UTD, and so with UTD, their match against Oklahoma State was probably one of the best matches we're gonna see in that. Where it's
Yeah.
going to be the best open match that we're gonna see all season until that final happens. And with in respect to them, I do talk to some of these teams when I'm going into making my rankings, and I do know the UTD guys. They actually were like, we didn't win, we don't deserve to be top 25. They didn't feel like they played a top 25 performance. Um, they Next week they are like basically the 26th team. Right now they showed that they are definitely better than a lot of other teams in Open. They're definitely going to be favorited for finals in Open, and they're definitely looking at an invite spot next season just because of that's their second match ever, and they're already competing with the defending Open champion. And
hmm
Oklahoma State shown that they can beat invite teams as well. So it's looking good for them. It's just that they didn't get the win, so it's kind of and they didn't really even feel themselves that they felt to be at the
Yeah.
top 25. But Next week, if they dominate the team they're going to play, which I think they will, there you definitely might be seeing them in that 25-24 spot.
To,
I
to answer
think
Men's
that
message, because he said they're about to drop, you guys won't drop far just because you're not doing winter, because we know how you guys finish the season in 3 leagues. Plus, you guys still have relegations from what I remember, so that's still going to be accounted for. Because you guys will be doing relegation against CEA invite teams that are bottoming out, so that won't hurt you guys. That'll actually benefit you guys for the placement in like your ranking.
yeah.
Great.
And
Grand Canyon won't move.
I saw ULL also typed. ULL, they're not doing winter from what I remember because they're not in the Gulf Coast Open. If ULL would have done winter open, they would have been the same issue as UTD. Like ULL's proven they're an OG team, but they would have been the top 3 team in that group for sure with UTD and Oklahoma State. The rest of the teams in Gulf Coast Open, there's not really one that can compete with them. Like the next closest one would be either OU or Baylor, and I heard OU beat Baylor pretty like landslide, and OU's a newer team as well. So like Gulf Coast Open outside of those 3 teams is not really competitive. So that's why it's hard to even put UL in a ranking.
I think a lot of these rankings will even out once we get past this semester too. Like this
once we start spring going.
Because like I find these invite games looking through are kind of scuffed. Like there's always that like Virginia Tech, they'll get replaced by a decent team. Not to shit on Virginia Tech, but there's also like the Michigan Tech and stuff like that. Like all the bottom teams that are kind of like on the cusp. Either they'll make the roster change and get better, or a team that made the roster change will move up. I think it makes it more competitive.
Yeah, I'm opening the spreadsheet right now.
Yeah, one of the things that actually is like incorrect on here is so CR6 exported the score wrong for Michigan State versus Kennesaw. I think they inputted it incorrectly. So actually, Michigan State forfeit that game, and for some reason on the spreadsheet it had Michigan State actually winning that, and then someone else had told us that they played. So Michigan State is actually probably not going to be ranked, and Kennesaw State should be moving back up because I don't know how CR6 messed up the input of the score, and I didn't see any tickets on the game either. So I assumed that was the correct score, but I guess it was just changed like right now. So Michigan State is, heavily overranked then because
and like also like Premier, like how Jake was saying, like the teams that are gonna get replaced, for sure, I think bottom 2 right now is CGC, UIC, and Tech and Virginia Tech. UT is still good. They're just in the Gulf Coast group, which is a group of depth in its own.
Battle of Texas.
So Texas will probably win their own relegation match if they have to play relegations. It'll either be them or A&M in relegation because they're both 0-2. I don't think Michigan Tech goes to relegations. I think if anything, it'll be Michigan State, and I think Michigan State would probably drop if they made their roster moves.
Oh yeah, that's actually my bad. Michigan Tech. So it says Michigan State at 8. It's actually should be Michigan Tech, and then Michigan State's actually ranked 20th right now.
And
so.
Yes. Tech, Michigan Tech should be in the upper echelon of the teams.
Yeah, we have some type. There's some type.
We can't. Yeah, we can't change it because it's an actual like image on the screen.
Yeah. But we will when the actual rankings.
No. Your rankings are wrong.
What do you mean?
Because you have Michigan State and I have Michigan State.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. Michigan State and Tech should be flipped.
Yeah, I was just saying that when I did the graphic, it's Snail's fault, not mine.
I
can read a spreadsheet.
I don't know, maybe because Kennesaw State's right under him. So
in open, from what I'm seeing, Kent State has a pretty good sizable lead. Kent State, Northeastern, OU, Minnesota, and Boston. Those are like the top 5 teams right now in open.
Yeah.
So I see they're editing the scores now. Kent State's a newer team, so that them up top 2-0 is kind of very eye opening.
Mm-hmm.
Same with OU. Like I was saying, OU's newer, and they're up there. So they play Oklahoma State this week. So we'll see how good OU has really become from being that newer team in the fall? Because I think they only did Face It in the fall, if I remember correctly. I don't think they did CA or CR6.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. And you notice the big drop in Colorado, obviously, from the thrashing they took. So
Yeah, they haven't put their updated score yet for them, but I saw they moved their spot.
yeah, they
13,
just off what
14,
GCU did to them, I think like that move down was enough. Plus, the West. The West is showing to be a really probably the weakest division in
yeah.
CR6. I mean, the East is kind of based like CR6 East is more even compared to the Midwest than in Face It. In Face It, you have basically the state of Ohio just moves out of the East and goes to the Midwest, and then the Midwest is loaded then
Yeah, I
with
don't
just that
get how
one
they did
move.
that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
it depends where you put the state of Ohio. Those are all good teams: Ohio State, Miami, and Akron.
Yeah.
yeah, even though I think Soup is losing his entire team now, so I don't even know if they're gonna have a team anymore.
That would
To
Okay.
be
be
tough.
fair, yeah, Soup transferring to Akron, I guess.
Soup to Akron confirmed.
Yeah,
Replacing Surma. You heard it here first. Surma retiring. He's gonna be a WoW player. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Bucka just told me, and yeah, it is true. Kent State's only 4 RD higher than Kettering, but we have 3 teams tied with 18 round differential. And open, and
Yeah.
then 2 with 17. So open right now is very close because there's a big shift between mid-tier teams being like the upper open teams and then the bottom tier teams.
Yeah.
Because then I would say like the top tier would be everyone invite hypothetically. But
Yeah.
with this next game should be able to dictate, or I think open was doing 3 weeks as well, or are they doing 4 weeks?
Open is doing, I believe it is.
1,
It should be
4. I think it's
I
4.
think they're doing
Yeah,
4.
if they do 4, it'll balance out with who's good and who's not
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
I know
Because-
Gulf Coast is kind of fucked because the last 2 undefeated teams play themselves this week.
Mm-hmm.
So next week it'll be a fucking 3-0 team against a 2-1 team.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know that for sure. Like in the UTD Baylor match, UTD is gonna win that one. If they want to get ranked, they need to win that game like 14-3.
Yeah.
Because that Baylor team is not good.
Honestly, even then, 14-3 is being generous. I think it has to be a 14-2, 14-1.
Yeah, because when Illinois State's JV team is taking a map on you and losing by 3
Yeah.
rounds, there's something wrong. I mean, no hate to my JV boys. We love them, but
Maryville got a lot of
yeah.
rounds on UTD, so that hurt them big time going in. Like,
yeah,
if they would have blown out
Yeah.
Maryville more than what the score was, they probably would have ranked coming into this. Because
Yeah,
that Oklahoma State it was close.
yeah. I mean, they won the RD in the Oklahoma State game. It's like one game a season where you win your RD and you lose the match.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
that's tough. And I think a funny matchup too in the Midwest is Minnesota's A team and Minnesota's B team are like basically the same skill level.
They are.
And there's a Minnesota match this week in the Midwest.
Shit, there is. Lol.
Yeah, so the A team is playing the B team, so that will be interesting because B teams, they're B teams for a reason, but at the same time, from what I've heard from Minnesota, it seems that they're like 5 groups, like they're 5 friends, and that's 2 teams of 5 friends.
Yeah.
So I think they took these teams as as they wanted to.
Mhm.
So I don't really know if it's A and B. I think it's just like they're 2 quote unquote varsity teams just playing each
Yeah.
other.
I agree with Inception's take though. I
I do too.
don't think Inception was here when I said it, but for sure UGIC and VTech are probably gonna get relegated without a doubt.
I
And then
think
it depends
Austin
if
will.
UT Austin or A&M, whichever one of the two goes into relegation, they have a chance to keep their spot because
Yeah.
they're just in a group of death with us and Tech.
Mhm.
West Coast, I think they're all close together that whoever bottoms out of that group is getting relegated.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
NAU will 100% make it through. They're
yeah. It also depends on where. I know that Tango was talking about there might be one team that's auto relegated. Um, if like your RD is like absolutely
Trash.
atrocious,
I
which would
mean,
probably be
Ver-
Virginia Tech.
Yeah, Virginia Tech and UIC have the two worst. But
Yeah.
I think Virginia Tech is in a much tougher
Texas
group.
is still a -21 right now too.
I don't know.
For
I
you,
feel like the East and the West, like I feel like Akron just destroys everyone. Like so that's
yeah,
not really close. But like Montreal and St. Clair are more like
More even
we're
close
about
ground.
even.
in terms of like I mean Montreal blew out St. Clair and
Yeah.
like that. So, I don't really know if I think this Virginia Tech is just so below the three other teams, like in terms of that. Whereas like
Oh,
the Midwest
100%.
is the same way with UIC. Like they just don't have like UWW, Illinois State, and Purdue are all teams that they run it with anybody. And
Mhm.
UIC is just kind of like they kind of ended up there because they were like one round ahead of in RD and like last season they were one round ahead of UCM. So people thought that UCM was going to be a better team because they took out Colorado first round playoffs, and then they're just getting absolutely destroyed in the open division this season. So I don't really know what's going on with them, but um, it's kind of hard to tell like if there really is a fourth team that's in the Midwest, and I think that fourth team would probably be Iowa State. But
Yeah.
then again, Iowa State is not
And
playing
Yeah, so
CR6
they
this
can't.
season.
that's also a
That's the
thing too.
biggest thing. Like, some teams can't do it based on scheduling or school stipulations, shit like that.
Especially in a winter kind of
But
like rushed
like
season
that,
like
there's
this.
there's teams that are known. Like Michigan Tech, they didn't do CR6 this fall, but we knew where they stand among based on other fucking leagues like Face It and
Yeah,
like CA. The same
yeah,
with Iowa State. We know Iowa State is up there close with Illinois State, UTSA, but they only did Face It, so it kind of hurts them in the rankings. And in like if they were actually to do invite, they'd have to grind open to push in.
yeah. I mean, I think there is a fast track though. Um, so I think
Open playoffs are going to be a
one
No,
bloodbath.
team
no,
might get.
but MTU
Well,
wasn't in fall CR6.
yeah, they got invited because um that division was supposed to be St. Clair, Montreal, um, Ohio State, and
Akron.
I don't think it wasn't and Akron.
Yeah, you're supposed to have
Um,
Ohio.
so Ohio State dropped out and said they don't want to play invite. And so we had to find two new teams because UW was on the edge. So then we brought in Virginia Tech, and then we pulled in Michigan Tech because we're like from that area, and so they were supposed to be in the north. And then we're like, well, Michigan State, and Michigan Tech were in
Really?
the well, Michigan State's in the south because Michigan State signed up backwards, and they put their A team in the
The
east and their B team, or no, yeah, they had their B team in their actual varsity's division, and then they put their A team, quote unquote, the B team in the Southern division.
Eh,
So they were all screwed up, and then we like kept them in the South because then if we moved them up, we're like, then we have five North teams, and then we're like, what do we do? Then we're like, oh, do we move the Michigans into the Midwest? But then you can't do that because you already have Purdue, Iowa State, or Illinois State, and UWW
UW.
there, and so yeah,
yeah,
too big. This is too big then. So everything got kind of messed up. But in the spring season, when you go to the 10 teams, they just kind of probably draw a line right down the middle,
yeah,
and everyone like Texas will probably all go west, and then the above Texas area, the Illinois zone in the south, they're all going to go to the Akron side of things.
The east side, yeah.
East.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think once we get to like a 10-team format, a lot of the teams will like even out. You'll either be in the top three or you'll be in the bottom two relegation spots.
Yeah, because
I think
it's tough with like our regional helps for scheduling shit like that, but like skill wise, some like
some
obviously,
teams are ahead of the other.
yeah, like the South is super dead outside of Georgia and Kennesaw.
Yeah,
You would think like FIU, but they disband. Who knows what's going on with that roster?
yeah. There was a few disbanded
UCF
too.
had like a huge drop off from where they used to be. They made CR6 fall finals or fall playoffs, but you haven't heard much from them since then, or CEA fall playoffs. So it's very uncompetitive, to be honest. The South.
Mhm. Yeah,
yeah. UCF had they had a boatload of good players in like the spring for CR6. They had pre-firing. They had Luke. They had
Jolly.
um, Jolly. No, not Jolly. They had Jelly,
Yeah, Jelly.
and then they had two other players who were like diamond ranked. They were a
Mhm.
solid team, and then pre-firing just decided to quit the game, so they picked up Danny, and then um, after that, it just seemed like their whole team dropped off the face of the earth. And then their B team wasn't too bad. They had nuclear drifting, um, and then seems like their B team also just dropped off the face of the earth then too. So you just kind of had like a bunch of new players playing there. They were good enough for the open um, side of things, but they don't have like the talent they used to have in that school anymore.
Yeah, so like West Coast, same issue. You got Colorado and CSULB, and then the next 2 to 3 teams are like on a step down, kind of all mix and match. Because some days UCSD is hot, sometimes they're not. Same with Cal. Same with who's the other team? Boise State, Oregon State. They're all kind of like a question mark at the end of
Yeah.
the day against other regions.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I see Dynamite in the chat talking about. I think he plays for Auburn. Um, the problem with Auburn is you don't really hear about him a lot. I think they only play CEA.
I think
CA
so.
and Face It.
Yeah, they played Face It, but I don't know if they made the playoffs over in Face It. I don't
A
remember
lot of
seeing them.
the Face It playoffs were weird. I think top
Yeah.
2 should have went. Like
Yeah,
that
I
was
mean,
top 1 is just.
I think
I don't
Auburn
think
was. They
those
were in our
guys-
group in CA. I don't remember if they were second or third in our group. I think they were second over A&M B team in our group.
yeah,
Yeah, second.
I like
Yeah.
they, they beat teams like UNCC and Huntsville. They beat them both. That's what Dynamite just said. Problem is that you guys didn't make the playoffs and Face It, and since you play CEA and CEA is kind of like the problem with CEA is their playoff is just massive. Like their
Yeah.
open playoffs to get in, I was looking at it and I'd have basically Klimpse walk me through it because it was just so much. Like
Mhm.
there's just so many teams, and I think Auburn lost early to somebody, so that doesn't help their ranking. Plus, you just don't see them a lot, and UNCC and Huntsville were putting up some numbers and Face It, which it's gonna increase yourself a lot. Like I say that like the biggest pull I think in creating these rankings, CR6 invite definitely has the biggest pull because
Yeah.
you're competing
Right
against
now.
the best of the best. Face It, I
Mm.
had that as like second because
Those random groups were kind of a throw.
yeah, they were
Yeah.
they were scoffed the random groups and also
Yeah. We played a bunch of West teams. Like we played NAU, so we had ping issues because I think.
You guys had a B team in your group. I think Buffalo,
Yeah, we had
or
a
like a
B
community
team.
college.
We had Washington Community, or yeah, we had a community college. Like they were, and then it's like again, you lose one game, you're out of playoffs. It's just weird, right? How they did the playoffs. It was a weird skill gap.
Yeah, like
Or not
like
really
it was
skill
top
gap,
one.
it's
Like
a weird.
in our group alone, we had 3 playoff caliber teams.
Exactly, yeah.
Like it came
Yeah.
down to map differential why we got
Mhm.
in over Iowa and Illinois.
Yeah, exactly.
and the reason Iowa State's on here is because like the Division of Death got a lot of like notoriety around Face It just
Facts.
because that was like when
That was
Face It put
weird.
out their thing and everyone's like, this is scoffed, and Face It was like looking for evidence why you just throw them Group B, and you're like, yeah, this is why. You can't have
No.
this type of competition going on, and that makes things like very, very
Yeah.
hard to like, just for Face It's sake. And now the way they've built divisions for this upcoming season of CR6 or for Face It, I'm sorry, Face It, you're just looking at it like, well, now the Midwest, now you're just seeing divisions getting even really scuffed because not only did they add Ohio, but they added Michigan as well. So Michigan coming to the
Michigan
Midwest,
North, 100%.
yeah, Michigan's like right next to St. Clair. St. Clair
Yeah, it's a
is
45-minute
literally
drive.
yeah, St. Clair is literally like
It's a
just over the
45-minute
border,
drive.
and like
That's
that
like
just doesn't make sense to me what they were doing. Like I get Purdue, we find Indiana, we don't like Indiana that much here in Illinois, but like Indiana's a state, we accept them into the Midwest. Akron is too far over. Like they're
Akron
basically
100%
with
north.
Pennsylvania in our minds. And
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like, Face It's all West Coast people, so I don't really think that they understood like how things
Yeah,
were
so
working. I'd rather have Oklahoma in the Midwest than an Ohio and a Michigan because
Duran was saying that he's taken stats into consider, or like he's using stats to going forward to adjust. So I guess he's taking the data from the fucking fall and handling it towards the spring. Even I believe spring is going to be Swiss based. Swiss based the whole regional group unless they do sub regions
I
in
don't
those regions.
I don't agree with small Swiss tournaments though.
It'll
You just don't get an accurate reading, I find.
I think they're just going off like the states because like the list they put out was regions with states.
Yeah.
So it'll be like Gulf Coast was like Texas, Louisiana. I believe Georgia got thrown in the Gulf in like the
Watch
South.
your language, Juwan. This is a PG
Um,
stream.
I don't remember if Arkansas was in ours as well. Oh, I know Oklahoma was in ours. Maybe Mississippi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that was, Texas brings in a lot of teams, and then Oklahoma was originally in the Midwest as well. I don't think Face It understands how big the Midwest is in terms of
No.
teams.
There needs to be
Not
two
at all, because
divisions.
yeah, like you just can't have all you have three more like high quality teams in Ohio plus the skimper ones, Case Western, Toledo, um, Bowling Green State.
Yeah.
There's three more. There's 6, and then Michigan has Michigan State, Michigan Tech, Michigan. Uh, they have Ferris State. Uh,
St.
I
Clair,
believe, yeah,
pretty much.
St. Clair's basically Michigan.
U of Windsor, our university school.
Yep, they
They have a
have
team now.
Eastern, Western, Central. Um,
Yeah, it was four groups and then like all the states under each.
Yeah.
Like if you cut it up vertically, if I remember. 'Cause it was
NJIT is just trash. That's all I'm saying.
NJIT bad.
They just trash.
Yeah, they fell off kind of hard. But I mean, talking about leagues doing bad things, CEA scuffed.
Dude,
I've hated
who plays
that league.
CEA?
that
I've hated league since
Who
summer.
plays
That league is
CEA? I played it once.
their invite format is really bad. You can't have the open teams that are contending to get into invite play each other
to decide
to
who
keep the invite teams in invite. Most of those invite teams were like grandfathered in, and like in the competitive like setting, the ones that are in relegation in invite can't hang.
That's why not to diss Akron, but it's free low for Akron there. Like
Akron's getting free money.
It's Akron and it's Akron and who's gonna finish second? Like like MTU, Colorado, Penn State picked it up towards the end, but they were bottoming out at the beginning of invite. So like who is gonna come into in second of that group? You can't have Georgia playing Tech again when both of those teams should be an invite.
Dude, a lot of teams should be an invite, but it's just like look at Penn State. That's the only league they do because they're an invite because they got grandfathered in.
I mean,
I have Penn State. Team.
Yeah, I have Penn State ranked on here, but deep down, I have some personal bias. Penn State is a joke of a team. Their summer team had literally like their best two players didn't go to the school, and we were playing them, and the only reason that we got eliminated from those playoffs is because Ubisoft doesn't like Illinois for some reason in terms of connecting to their servers, and mid game, our man loses power. But like, I don't think that CA like as a league either, like staff wise and just how they run their stuff, it just never appealed to me that it's a well-run league, and you can tell from their invite series that it's just
Penn State. I think Delta, and I think they might have like one other player that I would consider a solid player or like in the upper echelon. But Jaws. Yeah, that's the other one. The other three are just like I can't even think of their names. That's how like they aren't seen like in 10-mans. They aren't seen in Go For stuff like that. Yeah, Delta used to play with my boy Docs. So that's how I know him outside of collegiate.
Delta Goat.
Yeah, but I think CA is gonna be done after this semester. I think.
Are they done?
There's question marks.
That's what we heard. Yeah, I mean that's what was told to us at CR6 is that CA is done. So, because they're going to be moving towards Valorant and
I heard that
something else. But
their Valorant league got some good views because I know our Valorant team was playing in it.
Yeah, I don't know what our Valorant team does.
Still flaws in the system, but that's what happens with the new esport.
Yeah. Hopefully they get rid of it from the two games.
The 2 games this season, yeah.
That was, oh my lord! Don't get me started on that.
I think.
Go for it.
That is dumb as shit.
the end of basically collegiate at the end of this spring will just be, just CR6, face it, and then any college student wants to play T3. That's about it.
You guys want to move
Yeah.
into predictions?
Yeah.
Wrap this up. All right, so I'm gonna pull up the predictions on screen right now. So these are from the committees. There's a couple of new members of the committee that aren't in here, but these are the committee predictions going into this week 3 of Invite. They're also the team's records right next to their logo of their current Invite records.
Yeah, Illinois Chicago is supposed to be 0-1. That was a
Might be a
Yes.
typo somewhere. Yeah.
yeah. There's a
That might
typo
be
on
a
there.
few. I did
But I
this
mean-
before the stats were fully upgraded.
Yeah, the Northern Division's pretty straightforward. The UDEMs and the Akrons basically winning those. JM, he's repping his school,
You got to
but
air up the boys.
he's got a rep. I mean, but that division's pretty safe to say who's gonna win that those games.
Yeah, Virginia Tech.
I think the biggest matches
Virginia
are
Tech.
definitely, Virginia Tech's obviously winning.
So yeah,
yeah,
so
they win those.
Montreal and St. Clair, outside of whatever happens this week, they'll be the 2 and the 3 playing in the 2 and 3 bracket for playoffs.
Yeah.
In the South Division, you got Georgia, Kennesaw, Michigan State, Michigan Tech. Trying to remember if there was a typo in that one.
Yeah, there is now because of the fact that
Yes.
CR6 had Kennesaw's record wrong. So Michigan State's actually 0-2 and Kennesaw should be 2-0. So I think that match being said is kind of messed up because of that loss that was put in as Michigan State. So I think those predictions may have changed. I mean, they probably still would go to Georgia, but probably more 2-1 sided than the 2-0s that some people had. And
Yeah.
I don't think
it'll be a closer game then.
For sure,
Like-
Kennesaw and Georgia are making. We played Thursday Tango. Kennesaw and Georgia 1 and 2, whatever they settle in their match of the rankings, and then it'll be between Michigan State and Tech, who goes into relegations, who goes into the 2 and 3 playoff bracket. Midwest. I don't remember. I think those are scuffed because I'm pretty sure Chicago, Illinois is 0 and 2.
Yeah, they're 0 and no, they're 0-1 right now. They have not
0-1. They haven't played yet.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Very
games in the division are behind.
Okay.
Because because finals were last week for I think it was Purdue, Illinois State, and Illinois Chicago. So the battle for the division is going to be on Thursday when Illinois State actually plays Purdue, and then Whitewater basically only played Illinois, Chicago, and us, and then Chicago only played Whitewater. Well, actually, no, they played Purdue as well, so actually they should be up too. But
realistically, we could already put in Whitewater, Illinois State, and Purdue in the playoffs. One of them is going to be in the top 5 playoff, and the other ones are going to be in the battle for second and thirds to fill out the bracket.
Yeah.
Mount Pacific, it's basically Colorado and then a bunch of question marks. The bottom team of that group is getting relegated.
Oh yeah,
hands down.
It'll be Boise State 100%. They're a good esports school, but they are not a siege team.
They were having a decent showing at the start of fall, and then as fall went on, they would start going south, and it's showing an invite.
Yeah.
CSULB is a question mark. I don't know if they're doing roster changes or what, but I know they were towards the middle of CA invite, if I remember correctly. And they're 1-1 right now in the Pacific. So it's the Cal, I don't think, is on the higher end. So those 3 teams outside of Colorado are question marks. Even no matter which one of those 2 of the 3 make playoffs, they're not going deep.
Yeah.
I
don't even think they'll make it into the final bracket for playoffs outside of the 2 and 3 bracket spots.
No. I don't.
I mean, even with that whole division, even with Colorado, the fact that that team relies heavily on Blonde and Payne, and then Alexis K thrown in there. If they don't play, the Colorado team just does not do what they need to do. So that whole division in general is just kind of weak. But like that's where when you're gonna see then when you get to like the two divisions in like the spring, that's when you're gonna see like what divisions truly had the weakest teams because you're getting four teams relegated in one each,
But
so eight total teams are leaving.
that's gonna
And
be weird how they do the relegations though.
it's gonna be 9 weeks round robin.
Yeah,
So
that'll
then
be a
your bottom,
long.
yeah, it's like basically the Swiss season,
Yeah,
but just you're doing round
Already,
robin and
Rob, you already know who you're gonna play.
yeah, you can schedule a
yeah,
lot better. I think.
yeah, it's a lot easier for teams.
Yeah,
There's no
won't
like
be
bounds
last
on
minute
stuff either.
rescheduling with the forfeit trap. Forfeit traps, air quotes. The
Yeah.
teams do.
Then there's also probably going to be like a few rules and invite that literally completely deny a forfeit trap. Like there's just no one's going to be there's going to be every game will be getting played.
Yeah, and
Because
I
we can
also
move it back weeks and stuff like
and
that.
hot take. Me and Miggs were kind of talking about this yesterday. Is that I think for like forfeits, it should be a bigger deficit because you're in an invite league. I think it should be either a 7-0, 7-0, or 7-2, 7-2.
I think 7-2 is like a good middle ground because I
Yeah,
feel 7-4. Like if a team knows they're gonna go blow out, like say
that's for a Akron. If
say
it would be a blowout.
UTB team is playing Akron. Well, they're just gonna
Yeah.
forfeit. They rather take the +8 opposed to the fucking 0 rounds they would have got.
Hmm.
Yeah, maybe, but I mean in that I think it round differential in my opinion is not gonna be as big of a factor as it is in Swiss though, because I think your bottom teams, if you keep like by UT just taking that forfeit straight up, they're not playing, and then if teams are better than them, they're gonna beat them anyways. Because I think the magic number you have to win 5 games
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
stay, and I think that like at UT, if they're gonna be like taking like if for example if UT's taking forfeits, uh, I mean that just looks bad in general, and plus
Hmm.
CR6 keeps track of forfeits now, so
That's good.
they know how much if like teams are forfeiting invite too much, they'll just get auto relegated. Uh,
I agree.
stuff
If you
like
have more
that.
than like two forfeits in a
Yeah,
season,
I think two
you should
forfeits
get
is,
relegated.
especially when you already know when and who you play. Two forfeits
Yeah.
is already too generous.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like these teams are like the top teams. Like you all want to win and play.
Yeah,
So show up.
if you're just
Not try
playing
hard.
casually, you're gonna be in open. Like if you're
Yeah.
in
Play
invite,
open
you
mode.
obviously play to win.
Yeah.
We'll cover the Texas division or the Gulf Coast, but there's no schools outside of Texas in there.
it's Texas now.
We got
We deem
both
it
0 and
Texas.
2 teams in A&M and UT playing each other, and then we got UTSA and Texas Tech both 2 and 0 playing each other on Thursday.
Yeah, and I think so. You have the match of the week is by far just going to be UTSA versus Texas Tech. I think that one has most of the people wondering who's going to win, and then like that team's going to run the division. They'll probably get like probably the 2 seed or probably the 3 seed actually, depending on how the Midwest cleans up.
Hmm.
Both teams are making playoffs. Factual doesn't
Yeah,
like one and 2 seeds, both in that game because the other two are 0 and 2,
yeah,
and they don't. The 0 and 2 teams are very suspect. Like they're in a tough group as it is since we always play each other,
Yeah.
not
You
just
guys
in
are
league
always.
but in other leagues. But it comes down to how they fare when they have to play out for relegation seeding.
yeah,
And the one
yeah,
that makes it out of A&M and Texas, they're gonna have to really play a high ranking 2 seed to make the playoffs because they'll be the 3rd seed.
yeah. I think the
Mhm.
CR6 is trying to make it so that your West Coast teams aren't going to be playing an East Coast team, so they
Until
try
the
to keep it
finals.
more towards like your Texases or your Midwest team will be probably your 2 3s will be playing
Yeah.
a Western team in most cases, uh, and then your other divisions would just be like a cycle. They just be cycling through
Yeah. I
in
agree.
terms of that because like you don't want an East West matchup. Like
No, it's
that's what
horrible.
divisioning was
It's
trying to
not
avoid.
fun.
So they're gonna try to avoid that at all costs. But I feel like if you're playing a West team, you're gonna have like for a 2 3 seed, that's gonna be a lot easier than if you had to play like a Southern team or a Midwest team.
Yeah. I I
Oh
think that will be the best way though.
yeah,
If we keep the
I think
teams
if you,
separate
yeah
a little bit.
if you're playing a South team in because I'm pretty sure it'll be Michigan State in relegations from the South,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then it'll probably looking at it right now like Boise, Chicago, Illinois is like the Texas one. It's a toss up of which one of the two, but they'll be whichever one of the Texas schools is going into relegations will be the high seed in relegations. If like the of the five, and then the northern VTech, Boise, Chicago, and Michigan State are probably going to get relegated.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing to note too, though, is the relegations are all occurring in the last week of the season. So, like the last week of February or January is your relegations.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
those
yeah.
it's not like for like Michigan State, the problem is they don't have their roster right when they're playing invite. So when they do go to those relegation matches, they should have their roster ready. That's going to be playing spring. So that's why we made so all the relegations are going to be like late, so that teams are like bringing their actual roster for the next season instead of what
Yeah.
like you saw in like some of the other groups where like your seniors are like really good. You're like you kill some team like it's kind of a CSUOB situation where they have some good seniors that like help carry that team, and then now they're like not nearly as powerful as they used to be because you're losing 3 seniors and then you're working with what's left.
Yeah. It is especially hard right now with all the exams and team
I
players
think
going home for the winter and stuff like that.
yeah, I think most teams should be done with finals. I think this week.
I think this is the
Yeah,
last week.
this is the last week of finals for most
Yeah, I have
colleges.
2 this week, and then I'm done.
But yeah, I know that's the biggest thing with teams that didn't do invite, or that are in invite right now that are struggling. Like they're
Yeah.
going home. They either they live out of state or in state, but they're going home,
Yeah.
so they're not even trying to practice or nothing. They're just trying to relax before they go back to
And it was
campus.
such a big break between the CR6 season and to invite that a lot of teams stopped practicing too because we didn't know when it was happening.
Yeah,
Like there
I
was
mean,
rough
there's
dates,
Yeah,
but
yeah, it was like still like in the works if it was gonna happen or not.
yeah,
yeah, it's gonna
like
be
my
interesting
team,
to.
that was our first time playing together the Montreal game, and since we lost to A&M, like we took a break.
Because doesn't Face It start like in
No,
March
no,
7th?
no. Face
Early
it, start
January.
January 9th.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
it's
was
in
gonna
January
say.
9th now.
Yeah,
Okay.
roster submissions for Face It need to be submitted by the 31st, and transcripts need to be sent in as well.
Oh, damn. All right. They moved
Damn.
that up quick.
Yeah.
I was
But
when we signed up, it was like I said March 7th. I was like, okay.
No, it's
I thought it was
January.
February.
It's January 9th.
December spin.
Yeah, 31st of December.
A little bit tango.
So dang, that is starting
Early.
early.
Yeah, so I think that's why they're trying to do Swiss in the groups of
And they
all
go
the
all the
states.
way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
make almost everyone play each other essentially.
Yeah.
Dude, that's gonna be like what 15 rounds of Swiss.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
gonna.
that's what Swiss should be, though. That's how you get an accurate Swiss, though.
That is how you get accurate
It's still a
Swiss.
question mark how they're gonna handle their playoffs outside of that because in the rule book it just says it'll
I think
be 4 groups Swiss. So no question how many teams out of each conference
Yeah.
make it out.
It better be 8 to 12 teams from each group coming out, or
Like a
maybe
top 30,
60.
top 32 or 64. It'd probably be 64.
I want a 60. I want some March Madness type stuff going on. Like that's what
Oh.
I want to see. I want to see a March Madness bracket, for Siege. Like that would be crazy.
Ooh. Yo, Tango, think we could do one for CR6?
CR6 only pull 120 teams,
Or we
but
could do like a
That'd
March,
be almost
like a
every team
small March
essentially.
Madness
if we
thing.
could if we
We
could
could do like
get
a small one.
CEA to send over the teams that aren't playing CR6 and got those teams into March
Do like
into CR6, then it would be a better March Madness. But
we could do like a top collegiate March Madness type bracket.
I think
but
that's what they
like
essentially
a-
tried doing in CEA with the 64 teams 5-week Swiss. But
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
then, you had a lot of potential good teams lose
A lot
early
of
in the
bad.
bracket based because they're playing good teams early.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I hope that Face It like does the does a 64 team bracket, gets it
Yeah.
real big, gets a lot because you're gonna have a lot more watching too, and then hopefully they got to get together a production team over at Face It very very soon because right now Tango
We're losing out
he's
so
doing
much
everything
money.
for him.
Tango,
Yeah,
yeah,
losing
Tango's
out
out here
so much
doing
stuff.
God's work for him.
Yeah,
90% of teams playing all the leagues. I think we could do like, what if we did like a 32? I think a 32 would be a decent size.
30,
Like March
32,
Madness type
64 are the essentials. 64 is what
Yeah.
March Madness does.
Yeah. but I don't think there's 64 like top tier
Yeah,
teams. So
there's
so that's the thing.
yeah. I was gonna say 32. We'd probably get
You do
a
like a
majority of the best
32.
teams. Maybe
Yeah.
I mean,
one or
if
two that shouldn't be in there.
you did the 64 team though, you'd have
Cinderella
the beauty of
stories.
March Madness. Yeah, the beauty of March Madness is that Loyola
Good, bro.
Chicago's making it like a 13 seed and sending it all the way to the Final Four. That I think that's what you'd want to.
That'd be actually kind of fire.
That's what you'd want to see. I think that you'd want to see those like really low teams play like someone that like no trash to IMAP, but like I would love to see some like random team from
Just
like
take out Akron.
some north team, some like northeastern, just right out of nowhere, just knock out Akron 2-0 like straight up. Just
I mean, we came close last semester. Not the we
yeah,
came we did come close.
yeah.
Uh,
You guys aren't nobodies though.
I'm
Like
gonna
you
I'm
need
I
some
gonna
mean,
real
open up the
like
our
rankings
roster
again
was
for people that didn't get to see it earlier.
yeah.
yeah for
But,
sure.
like our roster wasn't. Our roster was there was only 2 returning and one, and I didn't play this semester before. So we
From
brought in
from
from the spring
from
when we played
for us from spring to summer,
beautiful. Yeah,
we were trying to carry over everyone except Primo because he graduated.
yeah.
So Primo just
And
played
then
summer
Vlad
because he
left.
could. Vlad and Prime quit through summer.
Yeah.
So we were essentially having 3 holes in our starting 5.
But then he picked up Ton.
We got Ton, and then we got Nexon going in.
Yeah.
And then we had to bring up Zai from B team to A. And
It was
then
a pretty decent pickup though for you guys.
yeah, so he's come through a couple games. And then now this from fall to winter to spring, it's like a question mark because Nexon might transfer out. He's undecided right now if he go to a different school. But
Yeah, I'm
we also got a
unfortunate.
new sub. Like we have Warp as a sub, and then we got Rose, who came from a T3 team. So we might be balancing out from where we were
Yeah.
So what is the starting roster this week, Migs?
this
You
week.
guys are the game of the week.
Ton, Rose, Zai, BZ, Easy.
All right, that is who Bait, Can, Buck, Espin, and
Okie Spartan.
you know, I don't even think Pokey's playing. I think Cryptix might play, but
Yo, Snail, you busy
yeah.
Thursday night, 9 p.m.?
Unfortunately, we have to play Purdue University on Thursday night to decide if we win the Midwest or not. So
That'll be a
yeah,
good game too.
That will be.
I
Shout out to
know.
them Purdue
Probably,
boys.
I mean, I don't here. Let me check what time we play it because we could get a back-to-back stream going. That would
Ooh.
be crazy. Winner of the Texas division, winner of Midwest division. You'd see that'd be 2 really quality games. I think.
That would be.
I'll have to see. I think we're playing at checking my Discord thing right now.
I think the Kensaw Georgia game will be a good too because they'll be the winners of that.
Yeah, that'll be a closer game too.
We're playing at 9 EST against Purdue.
same time as us.
Yeah.
The Texas Tech couldn't we can't do earlier in the week, and they wanted to do earlier in the week, and they couldn't do default, so we just met middle ground on Thursday. So
Main one Bravo.
ooh that would be a multi-stream like
Oh,
they were doing for invite calls.
Yeah, the
No.
tuning in and out of matches with a caster. That would be. I've been telling Tango he needs to do this for like. We need to get one where it's like 5 different matches going on. We have like 2 different channels, and then each channel has two streams, and then they're like the game of the week. Both teams have that stream, so then they can
like
switch.
Red
Like there's a
Zone.
rehost switch. It's
Yeah.
basically red zone. It's basically like you can see the last like minute 30 of each game. And then like the game of the week is going to be on like one channel, and then the other one is red zone, where it's just like every team, final minute 30, you time them up so that each one like goes in a certain set. So it's like minute here, like you can just keep going back and forth. But I feel like teams would miss way too much.
Yeah, because a lot of those rounds, are game changing from the start of the round. If a spawn peak, early rush that gets canceled out, early rush that works.
Yeah.
So maybe only
20-second
2
meta.
games would be better. But you could skip the pick phase in like the first 30 seconds probably.
Oh yeah. But
Mhm.
most definitely like maybe a multi-stream like they were doing for invite calls. I know the community casters were tweeting out their links to have so people could watch all 3 matchups going on at once. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Friday we could probably do it because if you want to watch the Akron game I'm sure
It's on say yeah. You guys got your own. Yeah, I say you guys got your own production as well.
we have our own thing, and then Friday with Tango doing his own thing.
Yeah,
get that done.
we just need the biggest thing would be getting observers. Observers are really short commodity in
That's
CR6
facts.
and well in Siege in general. Your observers. If you have a good computer and you can sit there and observe a game for 2 hours, 3 hours, you can make like get a league contract for like $300.
Yeah, you can get pretty decent. But you
Yeah.
have to be good at it. You have to know the game. There's way too many I find like observers that don't know the game and that
Yeah.
can't predict
Yeah, so they
what
don't.
happens.
Yeah, so they don't know how to actually follow along the action.
Yeah.
I will say, because I hadn't said it earlier, be sure to follow us on Twitter at R6 College. We will be tweeting out
Facts.
whenever we do the streams, the podcasts, and then if I'm pretty sure we'll be sharing the rankings on there as well, so it's public access for people to find.
Yep.
This will be going back on YouTube as well for people to go back and watch. For the people that may have missed some stuff earlier or had to leave midway.
Yeah.
It will be sponsored by Modelo pretty soon, hopefully. You know, fingers crossed. No confirmation. Use promo code MIGS at checkout for 0% off.
Wow.
Wow.
But I think that's it for
Sour
me.
food.
I don't, unless any of the boys got something to add.
No, I think
That's
I'm
about it
good.
for me, man.
Well, that'll be it for this week's Dirt Report, episode 3, going into college rankings. So we'll make the rankings every day or every week type of thing. We'll try to work around with winter break. The issue in the fall that we had was like we were trying to make it like every 2 weeks, every week, and then some of the classes kind of got stacked.
Yeah.
So we had to like fall off on where we were going. Like we couldn't, like we'd be trying to like meet a day to do it, but outside of scrims and then outside of homework, we couldn't get it going. So hopefully at least through the winter break we'll get it through, and we'll try to like carry the same rhythm going into the spring. Might have to pre-record some if it starts getting to that, but I think we could like find like an hour or two like to, because this is an hour already, so an hour is not too bad. We're always playing 10-mans as it is. If you're not
Facts.
already, all college students can play in the 10-mans. Alumni as
Besides
well.
that, Matt.
Alumni of participating schools of the R6 collegiate scene, no matter if it's CR6, CA, or Face It, can play in the 10-mans. There are prizes for open and invite league. There is a new rule that in order to apply for invite, you have to at least play 10 games of open. So you can't just show up and just apply for invite. You have
or
to.
buy Migs a case of Modelo's.
It'd be 2 cases.
Yeah.
Because I did have a case of a couple people applying for invite league, and they had no previous 10-man history. So there is a rule now that you have to at least play 10 games of open, of all time. It doesn't matter if it was all 10 this season or you played like 5 before and you just need to play 5 more now.
So what if they got you 3 cases of Modelo's?
They could slide them under my desk and then we could talk. We could talk during office hours.
Gotta love them office hours. That's where
Yeah.
all the good work gets done.
Hey, that's where all the extra credit goes. You guys go talk to your professors during office hours. They'll look out for the boys.
Yeah.
But that's it for this week. Thank you guys for coming. We'll probably stream or probably podcast again on Monday of next week.